photo has gone viral showing JK and another man being shirtless together. A statement was made by Jimin recently to tell fans to stop, and people were upset that it seemed like JK was being told to shut up at the camp. Say Dumplings is Dave Disci. Let's get into it. When JK came out of the military, people were very shocked at the amount of people who were there. Of course, news reporters were there. They likely were tipped off by either the agency or just by people in general. There to get a story. They're the reason why we know that the boys are coming out of the military. However, people were mostly surprised at the people that were not reporters that were there. And it seemed as if when JK and Jimin came out of the military, there were a lot of fans that were not supposed to be there. And if they even make a noise or make an appearance, of course the community is going to get wildly upset. And this makes a lot of sense to me. Apparently, after some news reporters decided to interview JK to get a statement and hear what his thoughts are for coming out of the military, the little community that was there decided to make a lot of noise. This happened when both of them decided to make a little bit of speech, right? Jimin and JK, and they did this outside the camp. And if you watch some of the videos of that speech posted by the news sites, you'll hear that you can't actually hear both of them speak. Some people had no idea what it was that they actually said, and this was even more frustrating because a lot of people that were there were not supposed to be there. The label talked about this not being an official event at the camp and for people to withhold their desire to show up at the camp. However, apparently this doesn't stop people from showing up at the camp. And if you're going to show up, at the very least, make yourself really discreet. But no, these people were screaming very loudly. I don't know how you can completely disregard the rules and what the label has said and still manage to make yourself really seen and know that you're there. Like, I would be trying to make myself not know that I was there, because trust me when I say the boys probably looked around and saw everyone's faces and probably does remember the faces of the people that were there, and they did not want them there. Many people believe that this was the reason why both JK and Jimin did not stick around for a really long time, and both of them very well know what it means to not stick around. They know that by sticking around, things could potentially only get crazier. More people could come, or the people that were there are going to then stick around longer. But if they then leave, they know that everyone is pretty much going to leave right away. And apparently some of the people that were there were rude, whiny, and complaining to the press that was already there. And people thought that that was even more disrespectful because they weren't even supposed to be there to begin with, right? And now they're being rude and complaining about things. What were the particular things they were complaining about? I'm not entirely sure, as a lot of the clips are not in English. But I would imagine things like the heat or just standing there for several hours. And I agree with the sentiment, because if you're definitely not supposed to be there to begin with and then you're complaining about standing there too long or things like that, that's an interesting choice that you've made. Of course, right after JK and Jimin came out of the military, or maybe even slightly before they came out, a statement was posted on Weverse, which was interesting. The statement was posted by Jimin, and it basically thanked the community for showing up, but asked the community to leave. This comes after the label had specifically said no one should show up, and they showed up anyway. Jimin mentioned that he was truly happy to see everybody there, and he mentioned that there was a dangerous situation happening, which was just how hot it was outside, and asked everyone to go ahead and just head home. Of course, as I'm reading this statement, to me it reads as if it hadn't happened before. Like this was right before they both came out to greet everybody, and he was just making a statement real quick. The label had already addressed something like this, and of course he is siding with the label in terms of not showing up. He is doing this a little bit differently. Instead of simply saying, hey, don't show up, it's not safe, it's dangerous, we wouldn't like it, it's overwhelming, or whatever the actual reason is, he's using the reason of it's not safe for you as the reason why they should go home, as that might be a reason why someone might choose to go. It's clear that the people who are doing this are people who care about just themselves, so maybe they would care about this. And I say selfish because it is selfish to go somewhere even though people have made specific wishes for you not to do that. You are then just doing it for your own sake and not because you actually care about what the person you're seeing cares about. It's absolutely beautiful and wonderful to see a lot of people care and show up and show love, because it's really amazing to know that this many people care about you, but it's a safety hazard. It's so many different things, and it could also lead to stalking. It could lead to so many issues, and showing up regardless of those those issues is selfish. It was even more crazy when the label's building had a huge sign that says, "We are back," and it flashed this on the building and it was projected onto it, which of course is very interesting because Suga is not back yet and won't be back for at least a week or more, so everyone is definitely not back. This caused such a huge amount of people to run to the label and the headquarters to just wait outside. In fact, officials mentioned somewhere around 1,500 people, but if you look at the picture, to me it looks like way more than that. It looks like there were several blocks that were completely filled, and I'm sure a lot of people probably were wondering what was going on with this. Maybe people who aren't a part of the community. This was even more shocking as, of course, Jimin mentioned and posted to tell everyone to go home. And people not only showed up outside the camp, but they showed up outside the headquarters. Doing what exactly? Because if the members were aware that this many people were waiting outside, and they would have been very aware very quickly, if they saw them driving to the headquarters or to the building, they probably would see this many people and realize it's not safe to leave the car, so they likely wouldn't go outside with that many people out in front. And if they were inside the building already, they likely would not come out to greet this many people because this is really dangerous. Some people could say that the projection on the building was the label's way of saying that they were trying to celebrate this and wanted people to show up, but I would say this is more of a message to Korea than a sign of an official event. There were pictures that came out showing JK being shirtless with another person in the military. Some people believed that it was a fellow soldier, and other people were thinking a little bit more dirty in terms of what was going on here. Some people were saying it doesn't even look like him, and the soldiers were at a gym together, but more so in a bedroom together, which of course likely isn't true. They likely were at a gym together, but being in the military also means that you can work out without going to a formal gym, but just doing workouts like a sit-up and that sort of stuff. Some people were talking about how this was really the first time that they saw JK and his body and it being fully toned the way it is. And a lot of photos we can see with him in Calvin Klein, and that sort of stuff could be edited, so we don't know. This is a more raw version that we know probably isn't edited. So a lot of people weren't sure if those were legit before, like the Calvin Klein pictures, but this cell phone picture looks more legit. So a lot of people are assuming that this was not touched, and a lot of people were saying that we are now fully getting to see his body, how toned it looks and all that stuff recently. However, with pictures like this, a lot of people can get very dirty-minded with those things. A lot of people believe that this was way more romantic and more romantic stuff had happened. And this is definitely a very interesting story, and maybe some of us can wish that the celebrities we follow have such interesting lives like this. But I think this was just a workout picture. I mean, from the picture we can see that there seemingly is 3 people there, so for anything romantic to happen, that would definitely be a huge scandal. I mean, being part of the queer community would be a huge scandal on its own. But being a part of the queer community and then having a threesome is beyond crazy. The community is often part of a lot of bigger shipping rumors. So a lot of people like to talk about stories like this or make up stories like this in their head. However, these situations are not real and are a little bit strange to assume. JK posting this, at least what I would assume, is not for the point of people sexualizing him, but more so the point of just showing off his body, showing off how he is built, and just showing off the body that he has built. It's something to be proud of, right? It's something that you want to show people because you've worked so hard on it. Similarly to music and any of that stuff that he might put effort into, and the same way that a bodybuilder might not be building his body for the sake of being attractive, but is just doing it because he wants to look a certain way or he wants to physically be stronger or something like that. So I'm glad that he found this, JK, and found love in working out and showing off his body like this. And I think we should not try to sexualize it, and definitely should not try to sexualize with other soldiers that are in the picture as well. I love the picture. I love that one of the soldiers shared this, and I hope to see more things like this in the future as we start to see the boys come back from the military and hopefully start to see them post a lot more. This is all very exciting, and I can't wait to see where it goes. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.